That's right, in the age of reboots, not even Avatar: The Last Airbender is safe. I mean, what the heck is going on with this series? I know, it's such a huge success, you just gotta keep on pumping out the money from it, but the original series ended in 2008. The horrible live-action movie came out in 2010, and now you wanna bring it back again? You're announcing this in 2018? It's only been 8 years since the first live-action movie, and you're like, oh, that's enough time. We'll just bring it back again as a Netflix series. 8 years. Jeez, I'm old. But yeah, it's going to be a live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender series. It's going to be a reimagined live-action, because you can't tell the same story over and over again when you're doing it, but you're doing the same characters. So what's the point? We liked the original. We liked the original characters. We liked the original story. It's pointless to try to redo a live-action series with like a changed story. If anything, you should stick with the universe and try to do a different story within that universe, so you don't have to focus on the characters that we love so much. Then again, The Legend of Korra kind of sucked, but some people liked The Legend of Korra. The best part about Legend of Korra was the villains. They were all very unique and awesome, but I hated the main characters. They were the worst. Alright, so we're on comicbook.com. Obviously the best place to go for this type of news, right? After the favorite anime-inspired series hit theaters and the live-action flop, it seems Netflix will try to work its magic on the epic series. What magic? According to the company's See What's Next account on Twitter, the streaming service is working on a reimagined take on Aang's story. Well, from what I understand, this is like super still in the works type stuff. Because right now all they're showing is concept art, and all they're doing is announcing that it's coming. I don't think they've done any casting yet. I think that they're still looking for casting calls, and it's going to be diverse casting, so no whitewashing, as they say. I can confirm that the original creators, Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian I can't pronounce that last name, will be back to take on the live-action show. This is what we've been training for all these years. There's no point. There's no point in remaking the same story. The original series is already perfect. They just want more money. At the end of the day, it's like they just want to squeeze every last drop of money they can get from Avatar: The Last Airbender fans, and it's just sad. Just come up with something new! Be creative! But no, Age of Reboots. Age of Reboots, everyone. Somehow this is related to Bob Iger, I'm sure of it. So far, there are no details out about when the live-action series will make its way to Netflix. No casting details have been made public either, but fans are both excited and scared to see how this live-action adaptation will go. Traditionally, live-action adaptations of anime... Stop mentioning anime! It's not an anime! Just because they have the anime eyes doesn't make it an anime! It's an American cartoon! Sorry, it's still very hot in my room. I'm a little bit irritated right now. Films like The Matrix have bucked the trend, but Netflix work on Death Note cast. Death Note was horrible. What the heck was that? It's a fucking Death Note movie. He shows the Death Note to like some girl so he can get laid. That was so bad. Shyamalan directed an ill-fated take on the famed Nickelodeon series. It is often touted as one of the worst live-action adaptations to an animated title. Oh yeah. Sitting next, I remember that! Dragon Ball Evolution oh my god, all the Dragon Ball live-action movies are hilarious. It's not even that they're bad, they're just hilarious. It's like a parody, you know? So it is now up to Netflix to turn around the franchise's live-action reputation. Even though there's no point because everyone likes the original and there's nothing really important to change. You know, it's interesting because when reboots started, like you think about the really old reboots like the Casper movie or the Inspector Gadget movie, they were rebooting cartoons that were like relatively old, like sometimes 20 or 50 years older than the time it was in. I'm not sure how accurate that is. Don't check my math, okay? I'm saying that it was more than 8 years or 10 years. I guess Avatar: The Last Airbender series was 10 years ago. It ended. And that's not even including the Legend of Korra series, which came almost immediately after. Like, what, 2 years after the Legend of Korra came out? They have the live-action movie, now we're getting another live-action series. So stop it. Stop it. Honestly, I think that reboots are probably more forgivable when they've had a large amount of time in between the reboot and the original. I do. Because, I mean... I used to love the old Casper cartoons, and even though, like, people make fun of me for it, I do like the Casper movie, okay? I know, I'm so weird. I like the Casper movie. It was cool. The freaking haunted mansion in that movie was cool. I wanted to live there, and I just loved it. I loved it as a kid. Casper was the bomb. You haven't even given Avatar: The Last Airbender enough time for people to forget it until they have to remember it again. It's almost like they're trying to never make this series irrelevant. They have to make sure that it's always on TV, always somewhere. You gotta see this. You'd probably have better luck if right after the series ended, you started making a live-action adaptation, but you took time, a lot of time, to edit it and go through it and make sure that it was really, really good. Right? And then like 10 years or 15 years later you came out with the live action movie, it probably would have been better because you've had so much time to work through it. You made that live action movie 2 years after the series ended. That is insane! You can't do that! Casting was all off. None of the actors were really good. It wasn't even that I had an issue with them whitewashing them, which, to be honest, I mean, I didn't even notice. I remember thinking that the effects were so lame, like they didn't have cool fighting in the movie. That was one of the worst parts of the movie, honestly. If you can give me an Avatar series with cool fighting, I'll be willing to stomach through it even if the story isn't good. But as you can imagine, a lot of mixed reactions to this. Like, some people hear that the series is coming back with the original creators. I mean, to me, that basically means nothing anymore, because I've seen series where they bring back the original creators and it still isn't good as the original, because some people just don't have the ability to do something amazing twice. Some people just don't have it, you know? I've mentioned it a bunch of times before. I've had creators where I will actually like save the creator's name and then watch their future projects, but sometimes it's just not as good. I can give you a couple examples. Butch Hartman is a good example. Fairly OddParents and Danny Phantom, very good shows. But when they outlived their prime, Danny Phantom went downhill. Fairly OddParents went downhill. And then his 2 new shows were not that great. Mediocre, maybe at best. Then you have Nick Park. He made some fantastic movies. The Wallace and Gromit shorts, the Shaun the Sheep movie surprised me how good that movie was, and Chicken Run, of course, that's probably the most famous one. Actually, maybe Wallace and Gromit is the most famous one, I don't know. I don't check the stats. But then, more recently, he came out with Early Man, which I was expecting to be really good also. No! Early Man was awful. It had like 1 good joke in it, maybe 2. Maybe 2 if I'm being generous. Early Man was not that good of a movie. Mediocre at best. At best. Yeah, I don't have that much faith in great creators doing something amazing twice. Sometimes people only have the ability to do it once. There are some people out there, some really good creators, who just have the natural ability to do it multiple times in a row. Craig McCracken, man. 3 very good shows. Powerpuff Girls, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and boom, Wander Over Yonder. Fantastic shows. I know I'm only mentioning kids shows and kids cartoons, aren't I? You see, I'm secretly 12 years old. But I'm going to wait to hear about the casting decisions, because I feel like casting is extremely important when it comes to movies. and whether or not they'll be watchable. I mean, the first movie was just, they hired no-name actors and actresses, and probably wasn't the way to go about it, because they weren't very good at acting. I'm interested to see what they come out with, mainly because I don't know what the heck reimagined is supposed to mean. Are you changing the story? Are you making cuts? Is it still the same story? Because it seems that they're going to be using the same characters and the same story a third time. So I don't have that much hope, but I'm willing to stick around and see what happens. I will tell you this, a series is probably a better idea than a movie, because in the movie they had to cut a lot of important stuff out, and it didn't work as well. So at the very least, in a series, what you can get out of a series is you can get a few good episodes that you can just watch as standalones, because you already know the story. You don't even have to watch the entire series. You don't have to follow anything. You already know the story. You can just jump into one episode and watch the fight and just enjoy the fight. That is assuming that the fights are good. What do you guys think? You think this is a good idea to remake this as a new live-action series? Do you think Netflix was a good way to take this? Do you think that they should just let this story die? Do you think they should try to make a different series, maybe using the same universe, maybe doing something entirely new and widening their horizon? I don't know. So thank you guys for watching. Remember to like and comment your thoughts below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Program restart.